This is for educational use only. Our group grants permission for our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as educational material.
Good day, everyone. Today, our group will present a report about global migration, one of the most important global trends of our time. Migration means people moving across borders to live, to study, or work in another country. It has always existed in history, but it has become more complex in our modern globalized world. According to the International Organization, 2024, there are more than about 281 million international migrants, which is roughly 3.6% of the world's population. This shows how migration has become a defining feature of our interconnected era. Learning Objectives 14.1 analyze the political, economic, cultural, and social factors underlying the global movements of people. Learning Objectives 14.2 display first-hand knowledge of the experience of the overseas Filipino workers or OFW. Not just about traveling. Migration involves resettlement and adaptation to a new society. Global migration affects both the countries people live, called sending countries, and the ones they move to, called receiving countries. In this report, we will discuss the definition of global migration in the contemporary world, the four types of global migration, why there is global migration, and the advantages and disadvantages of the sending and receiving countries. Definition of global migration. Global migration refers to the movement of people from one country to another with the intention of settling temporarily or permanently. Migrants can include workers, students, families, or refugees. They move for various reasons, such as finding better jobs, escaping conflicts, or pursuing education abroad.
Global migration in the contemporary world. In today's globalized era, migration is easier and faster than ever. Improved technology, transportation, and communication have made it possible for millions to work and live abroad. According to the IOM's World Migration Report 2024, most migrants move for employment, education, or family reasons, while the others flee conflict or disasters. The report emphasizes that the Asia remains one of the region or of origin with countries like the Philippines, India, and China, sending millions of migrants abroad. However, migration also brings challenges such as discrimination, unsafe travel conditions, and family separation. In the Philippines, migration is deeply embedded in our culture. Based on the data from the Philippine Statistics Authority 2023, there were around 2.16 million overseas Filipino workers or OFWs in 2023. Their remittances totaling 238.63 billion pesos significantly support our economy and the well-being of millions of Filipino families.
The four types of global migration. There are four main types of global migration. The first one is labor migration. Labor migration occurs when people move from one country to another in search of employment and better economic opportunities. Many Filipinos work abroad in regions like the Middle East, Japan, and Europe as nurses, seafarers, and engineers. This type of migration helps families through remittance and reduce unemployment in the home country. So the second one is forced migration. Forced migration happens when people are driven to leave their homes because of war, persecution, or natural disasters. refugees and asylum seekers move to other countries to find safety and protection. But however, they often face difficulties such as family separation, loss of livelihood, and uncertainty about their future.
Environmental migrations occurs when people move because of natural disasters like floods, droughts, or rising sea levels. These events destroyed homes, livelihoods, forcing families to relocate to safer areas. For example, people from coastal communities in the Philippines often migrate due to frequent typhoons and flooding. Voluntary or family migrations happen when individuals choose to move for better living conditions, educations, or to reunite with loved ones. Unlike forced migrations, people can plan their move carefully and adapt to new environment. For instance, a student studying abroad or a family joining relatives overseas are example of voluntary migrations. In summary, the four types of global migrations: labor, forced, environmental, and voluntary shows that people move for many different reasons, whether by choice or necessity. Each type reflects complex realities, whether by choice or necessity. Each type reflects complex realities of our interconnected world.
While there is global migration, there are many reasons why people migrate from one country to another, commonly called push and pull factors. These include economic, political, social, cultural, and educational reasons that influence people's decision to move. First is economic factors. Many people migrate to find the job opportunities and higher wages abroad. They seek financial stability and improve living conditions for themselves and their families. For example, millions of Filipinos work in other countries like Japan, Saudi Arabia, and the United Kingdom as nurses, seafarers, and domestic helpers. Number 2. Political factors. Some individuals are forced to migrate because of wars, persecution, or corruption in their home countries. They move to nations with stable government where they can live safely and freely. For instance, refugees from Syria and Ukraine have fled to nearby countries to escape violence and seek protection. Number 3. Social factors. Migration often happens when people wish to reunite with family members or start a new life abroad. Others move to be with their loved ones or to raise their children in a more secure environment. For example, Filipino parents working overseas sometimes bring their families to live with them after several years apart. Number 4. Cultural factors. People may choose to migrate to countries that promote freedom, equality, and acceptance. They want to live in a society where they can freely express their identity and beliefs. For instance, many individuals from conservative nations move to Western countries like Canada or Australia to enjoy cultural openness. And lastly, educational factors. Many students migrate to pursue quality education and better career opportunities. Studying abroad allows them to gain new knowledge, global exposure, and valuable experience. For example, Filipino scholars choose to study in the United States, South Korea, or Australia to advance their education and future professions. In summary, these factors economic, political, social, cultural, and educational shows that global migration is driven by people's hopes for safety, opportunity, and a better quality of life.
Let's go to the advantages and disadvantages of global migration. Migration brings both benefits and challenges to the sending country, such as the Philippines. When citizens move abroad for work, it affects not only the individual and their family, but also the nation's overall economy and society. Here are the advantage of global migration. One major advantage of migration is the increase of remittance, which boosts the national economy and rise household incomes. According to the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or the BSP 2024, these remittance allow families to afford better education, healthcare, and housing, improving their overall quality of life. Another advantage is the reductions of employment rates within the country. As people find work abroad, competitions for local jobs decreases, giving more opportunities to those who remain. Finally, returning workers bring home valuable skill and experience. They gain over Finally, returning workers bring home valuable skill and experience that they gain overseas. These skills can contribute to the national development as returning OFWs often apply what they learned in their fields, such as healthcare, engineering, or business management, within local industries of their own enterprises. Within within local industries of their own enterprises. So let's go to the disadvantage. However, migration also comes with several drawbacks. One of the most serious is brain drain. However, migration can also However, migration also comes with several drawbacks. One of the most serious is brain drain, which occurs when skilled workers and professionals leave the country for better opportunities abroad. This can lead to shortage in key sectors such as healthcare, education, and engineering, slowing national progress. Another disadvantage is family separation, which often cause emotional strain and weakness family relationship. Children of OFWs may grow up without parents' guidance, leading to loneliness or behavioral issues despite the financial support they receive. Lastly, the country's economy can become too independent on remittance, making it vulnerable to global crises. For example, during economic downturns or international conflicts, jobless abroad can reduce remittance flow, affecting millions of Filipino families and their national economy. So in conclusion, while global migration brings economic growth and opportunities for individuals, the sending countries must also address its social and economical cost to ensure sustainable development.
Advantages and disadvantages of global migration. For the receiving countries, global migrations brings a combination of benefits and challenges. Migrants contribute significantly to the host nation's economy, culture, and workforce. But managing migration effectively requires fair and human policies. Advantages. One major advantage is that migrants fill labor shortages in essential sectors such as healthcare, construction, and services. For example, many countries like the United Kingdom, Japan, and Saudi Arabia rely on skilled Filipino nurses and caregivers to meet workplace demands. Another benefit is that migration promotes cultural diversity and contributes to the economic productivity. The presence of migrants allows for cultural exchange, new ideas, and creativity, which enrich a nation's social environment. This diversity fosters mutual understanding and tolerance, strengthening relationships among people of different nationalities. Migration also stimulates innovation and global cooperation. When people from various backgrounds work together, they share different perspectives and talents that encourage progress and technological advancement. These collaborations support industries and strengthens international relations through the exchange of knowledge and expertise. Also, disadvantages. However, global migration also poses several challenges to receiving countries. One issue is cultural conflict and integration difficulties, as differences in beliefs, custom, and values can sometimes lead to misunderstandings or discrimination without proper integration programs. Migrants may struggle to adapt, causing social tension within communities. Another disadvantage is overcrowding and pressure on public services. A sudden increase in population can strain resources such as housing, healthcare, education, and transportation, especially in large cities. This can lead to competition for jobs and public assistance between migrants and local citizens. Lastly, there is the risk of illegal migration and labor exploitation. Some migrants enter countries without proper documentation or work under unfair conditions with low pay and limited rights. This problem emphasizes the importance of strong laws and international cooperation to protect all workers, regardless of nationality.
First-hand knowledge of the experience of OFWs. Number 1. Motives and sacrifices. Many Filipino workers decide to go abroad driven by family needs, limited local employment, and desire for better wages. According to the International Labor Organization article, life experiences help Filipino workers avoid pitfalls of migrations. One worker recalled, "My salary was not enough. Working in another country was not easy. I also experienced being treated as a slave." Number 2. Emotional and family impacts. The extended absence of OFWs creates emotional and relational challenges. In the study by Jerome V. Cleopas, Maria Cristina S. C. Eusebio, and Ellen Joy P. Pacudan, Anxious Apart and Attentive, a qualitative case study of overseas Filipino workers' family in the time of COVID-19. Families reported 3 key themes: worry over distant family members, disruptions in plans, relationship, and monitoring caring from a distance. Number 3. Work conditions and vulnerabilities. Working abroad isn't always glamorous. The ILO article highlighted several cases of mistreatment, being denied a chair, lack bridge, working long hours starting at 1 a.m. This underlines that beyond the financial benefits, OFW can face hard labor conditions, isolations, and right violations. 4. Financial behaviors and remittance. On the positive side, many OFW manage their earnings with responsibility. In a study of OFW in the Ilocos region, it was found that food, remittance, and health and wellness are the major expenses, and that OFWs also allot portion of their income to savings. So, while the sacrifices are high, many workers are strategic about their finances, using their earnings to advance family welfares. In conclusion, global migration is one of the most defining movements of our time, shaping the lives of millions and influencing the world economy, culture, and society. People migrate for many reasons, seeking better jobs, safety, education, or family unity. But every journey reflects the universal desire for a better life. While migration brings great benefits such as cultural exchange, economic growth, and skill development, it also presents challenges like brain drain, family separations, and social inequality. Therefore, understanding global migration helps us appreciate the sacrifice of migrants, especially our overseas Filipino workers or OFWs, and remind of the shared responsibility to ensure that migrations remain safe, fair, and beneficial for all.